Okay, I've done it again. It's new guitar day. I think we better open it up. Yep, I got a tiny little Steinberger. I got it from Tollman. I got it for under 300 quid. It's one of the B stock ones, but that seemed like a bargain to me. So let's see what it's like. I'll be honest, I bought it as a backup guitar. I've got a Headless Kiesel there, that's my number one, and I wanted something that would sort of vibe with that. And once you go headless, you know, you just can't go back. I really like the Headless thing just because of the way it moves and the way it plays and the way it moves with you. It's a totally different feeling to having some big guitar that just seems to have a lot of inertia to it when you move around. This one just flows with you and becomes part of your body. So I wanted something that would be a backup guitar and work with it. Let's get it out of the box and have a look. There's the guitar box. There's the box it came in. Right, let's open this one. Let's see what's in the next layer of box. Gigbag with the guitar inside. I'm quite excited, you know. Alright, so that gigbag's decent. That is very small and yeah. Okay, cool. Let's have a look. Zip it. Okay. There's the guitar. Okay, it's got a little thing on the switch. Fine, yep. And a little cover there. Well, first impressions. Yeah, first impressions. That's pretty cool and very, very neat and compact. And some instructions, look. Did they tell you how to play it? Is it in tune? No. Let's get it in tune. So I've had this guitar a few days now. And whilst editing it, I'm looking at the things that I said and thinking to myself, well, you know what? I could probably do a better, more concise job with a little bit of reflection on the things that I've learned since that first opening of the box. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do you a pros and cons list and talk about the things that I've found that really I think are the important things that really matter. So let's start with the cons. And the first one is a personal preference thing. It's got medium frets, or what appears to be medium frets. They're not the biggest. And for me, I'm used to playing guitars with big frets and jumbos, and coming back to these, I can just feel a lot of wood. Put your own gags in there. The finish of the frets is pretty good. There are some little rough bits along here, just in this section. And it's only in that direction, so I don't know why. And there is one dead fret. It's there. It's the D on the first string, and it's not pulledy. It's dead, isn't it? But other than that, it actually plays well for the price I paid. I think I'm happy to accept that, and I might well just have to file that down myself. The other thing that everybody hates about these guitars is the double ball end strings. Okay, now yes, I can see why it makes a very compact headstock, and yes, it's quicker to change them. It's got to be. But who the hell wants to buy double ball end strings? You know, they're hard to get. You can't get all the brands you want necessarily, and they're more expensive. So what I did was I bought I did what everybody does, and I bought the little bar that goes on the end, and that little bar just sits on the end of there. Your strings go through it. It's got clamps on, and it's just held in by the strings. But that sorts that problem out. So it turns it into a locking at that end and then a ball end at that end. Fine, we can live with that. The absolute Achilles heel of this thing is the pickups. The pickups are awful. How you make a pickup that bad, I don't know. How a company as big as Gibson, who actually make these, managed to put in a pickup as bad as that when they've got pickups that they make themselves for all of the guitars. Why they're putting them in there, I don't know. The next one might be a preference thing, but for me, it's this volume pot. It's a horrifically placed volume pot. It's right where your hand needs to be. My technique, I'll stand up. Normally my hand is there, so my little finger will be just below that pickup and waving in the air there, but it's catching the pickup all the time. If I move forward, my hand's away from the bridge. If I want to mute anything on the first 3 strings, then I just can't get in. What do you do? Do you put your hand over the top of it like that, or do you squash it in behind it? Not good. It would be so much better if they just got rid of the tone pot and moved it all back. Or do what I think I'm going to have to do and take the tone pot out and move the volume to there. I think that's going to be my solution, because I personally can't cope with that. Some people might like it because they might do that little violin-y thing. But, you know, a Fender's bad. This is horrific for placement. Horrific. Let's talk about the good stuff, the paint job. Now, whilst the paint job on most of the guitar is good, it really is good, I think it's a polyurethane finish, so it should be sturdy and tough and last a long time. Down here, we've got an awful lot of build-up of paint. Now, I did initially think that the fingerboard didn't fit the neck. However, on reflection, I think it's the build-up of paint. So we've got a huge build-up of paint with lacquer on top, which gives a bump here, which is going along quite a chunk of that side of the neck. The other side's fine, but it's just this side. So whether it's been sprayed and hung like that and there's too much paint and it's worked its way down, I don't know. But yeah, that is a bit of a thing. Oh, and some of the sanding around the end of the neck is questionable. There's some flatter, wonky looking spots. Does it affect the playability? Nah, doesn't make any difference at all. It's just a sort of an aesthetic thing. And I'm really struggling to get the camera to pick it up, but the finish on the edge of the fingerboard is very, very uneven. And you can definitely feel that when you run your finger up and down it. Fortunately, I'm not one of those players, and if you are, sort your technique out. But my thumb tends to be there or there, and I never really feel that, so I'm not going to notice that. Let's talk about some positives, because it's much better to talk about the positives. Balance of the thing when you're standing up playing it. It does feel a little neck heavy, but it doesn't dive. Okay, I mean, you know, your strap button is there. It's at the 21st, 22nd fret. So it's a long way this way. But the advantage of that is it moves the whole neck there. So you're not struggling to get into these frets. Everything's there, and you've got great access all the way along, all the way. When you're playing it upright, it does tend to fall slightly forward, so you're not going to see the front of the fingerboard so much, but the markers on there are adequate. They're not lumen layers, they're not big, so if you are in a dark stage, you might struggle a little bit, but otherwise, decent. The pots themselves are good, there's no crackles, they feel really, really quite nice. Lightweight to turn and smooth as silk, really absolutely smooth. The switch is solid, it feels great, it's very, very positive. The tip on the end of it feels small and cheap, but the switch, the action itself, is really positive and really good. There's no crackles or pops or anything like that when you change pickup. The action from the factory setup is great, especially down here. It's got a 0 fret on the end there, and that gives your first position really mega low action. I don't know how well the camera will pick that up. If I cover my face, it might do it a little bit better, but you know, the action at the first fret is superb, and further up, it really is quite good as well. Very, very playable. The thing that makes the action playable, and the thing that most impressed me about this guitar was the trem. The tremolo is, I've never come across a Steinberger tremolo before, but it's so well designed, and it functions so well. You flip the little lock there, so it becomes a hard tail. Nothing. Then you tune the guitar. So it's perfectly in tune, like you would with the hardtail. You're not faffing about going up and down and above and below like you would a floating trem. Then what you do is you flick the switch, so it becomes floating, and it immediately goes horrifically out of tune. But that's the clever bit, because you've got a big knob there that then changes the string tension. All you do is you turn that until it is in tune, and it moves the whole bridge back to where it was when it was in tune. Absolutely genius, and it works flawlessly. Downside on the trem is it is heavy. It takes a lot to move it, but when you do, it's smooth and it works really, really well. So overall, I said I bought this to be a backup to my Kiesel. Is it a match for the Kiesel? No, it's not. It's not even close. Does it hold its own, and will it be a good backup guitar that takes no space? Yep, absolutely. Will it get me through a set if I break a string on the number one? Without a doubt. Will it do it well enough? Well, pickups aside, yeah, absolutely. It's good enough to play. It's good enough to gig with. Those pickups do need to be changed though. Pickups. If you've enjoyed the video, got something from it, tell me what you think of the guitars. I think they're great. There's a lot of potential in these things, and certainly for the price. Don't forget, like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers!